Hi friends, welcome to the NPTEL course Business Development from Start to Scale. We are in week 8 with the theme of corporate development. In this lecture, the 36th in the series, we consider the case of a new IT startup. Before I go to the case per se, let me talk about corporate brand building because that is an important aspect of corporate development. For a corporation to have good brand equity at the corporate level, it must have six factors working in its favor. First of all, it should have a strong product portfolio known for its quality, features, and customer acceptance. When we talk about product portfolio, it is a reference to different kinds of product categories that the company has in its fold. Secondly, it should have a strong product brand or portfolio of brands that reflect product reputation. A product brand like Lux, a product brand like Synthol, a product brand like Dove, a product brand like Colgate. These are important. The company should have strong physical and financial performance for the company. The fourth factor is that the company's reputation for culture, values, and ethics must be impeccable. There must also be higher order business responsibility that is voluntarily taken up by the company. Environmental empathy, social responsibility, and corporate governance, together ESG, is one such facet. And it should also have a reputation for dealing in a fair manner with all its stakeholders. When a company has got all of these factors working in its favor because of its thoughtful and assiduous efforts over the years of its journey, the company would have strong corporate brand equity. The corporate brand equity also requires several ancillary activities to be performed. They may not be directly related to the corporate brand equity, but they help the company achieve higher level of corporate brand equity. For example, corporate social responsibility activities, the execution of them as well as communication about them. Collaborative campaigns with government agencies. For a company which has got products that are being supplied in times of inflation, if the company works with the government to talk about how the company is trying to moderate the inflation levels, that would be having a positive impact on the company. Similarly, when there are shortages, if the company joins hands with the government to enhance the level of availability of the product to the customers, then it would have positive impact. Third, public communication on socio-economic matters, synchronization with government expectations. That is, the company can carry out campaigns along with the government without any direct relationship to the products. However, the national interests are protected and supported by such joint campaigns with the government. The fourth one refers to campus recruitments and educational event sponsorships because the talent base is built at the bottom of the pyramid. The educational institutions are the catchment areas for a company, and the more the company is visible in the catchment areas of talent, the more will be the long run corporate brand equity that gets supported. That's why many companies have graduate engineer trainee programs or management trainee programs so that they stay connected with the educational campuses. Similarly, sponsorship of educational quizzes, educational events which bring out the technical talent as well as the management talent in students would also be adding to the corporate brand. Then, company awards for public causes such as entrepreneurship. If a company has a foundation, the company could, through the foundation, provide awards for various categories. It could be for social entrepreneurship, it could be for innovation, it could be for helping the indigent people, and that could be very helpful. I again spoke about the Britannia Homepreneur program, which had certain incentives for homepreneurs, particularly the indigent housewives who contributed to the social requirements of the community. Again, active membership in various industrial federations, just as CIA, FICCI, ASHOCHAM, are important adjuncts to developing corporate brand equity. Companies grow through brand building not as a day's affair but as a decade's journey. No brand gets built to the unassailable position as it happens to be without assiduous efforts over a long period of time. So for that, you need to have the core product and the core business. You should have market niche and market growth, and you should be able to secure reasonable market share in that market segment. You should also be seen as a company which is globally competitive, which means the company must do globalization as part of its strategic execution. There must be higher order ranking within the industry, not as an also ran company. And the company should be known for its competitive growth profile. So if the company has got core products, and if the company works in core businesses, is able to demonstrate market oriented competitiveness as well as global market oriented competitiveness, and is able to sustain competitive growth, the company's brands will be growing on a continuous basis. Let's go to the Indian information technology industry because that sets the context for the case study we are going to discuss first. Indian information technology industry is in terms of three tiers. We have top tier, which comprises companies such as Infosys, TCS, Wipro, the three giants of the IT space. We also have companies which have come up fast and in a very smart manner. HCL Technology, Cognizant Technology Solutions, and Tech Mahindra. Then we have a number of mid-tier companies, KPIT, Tata Elxsi, L&T Technologies, Mindtree, Emphasis, and Zensar as examples. We also have small tier companies like Trizin, Tanla, Newgen, Sasken, Mastec, Subex. When a new company such as Happiest Minds comes into play, the well diversified and well deepened information technology has opportunities as well as challenges. The company requires building of corporate brand based on unique positioning and robust growth. And that is this case of Happiest Minds is about. Let's look at the growth of mid-tier IT companies. Many companies such as Emphasis, Mindtree, Intellect Design Arena set the trend for mid-tier IT segment. Many established groups such as Tata, L&T, and Mahindra entered the mid-cap IT space. Tata had the TCS, yet it entered the mid-cap IT space through Tata Elxsi. L&T, a construction giant, has decided to operate not only through L&T Technology Services but also through L&T Information Technology. Mindtree, Tech Mahindra, Emphasis, Intellect Design are at various levels of capability. Of these, Tech Mahindra has transited quickly from mid tier to top tier by acquiring Satyam Computer Services. Happiest Minds, the focus of our case study today, represents a successful case of niche positioning and brand building in what could appear as a highly competed information technology domain. Happiest Minds has three signature statements. One signature statement is the name of the company itself. The second signature statement is in the company being mindful. And the third signature statement is the company being digital and agile from birth. It is very unusual for a company to have three signature statements, but let's see how the company got into that kind of positive framework. Before that, let's look at the IT industry megatrends. There are four megatrends that are driving the information technology industry now, but those trends have been foreseen by Happiest Minds when it set up itself for growth. The first is cloud first mentality. Flexibility and resilience will be the key for future success. Therefore, the basis of Happiest Minds was that organizations will prefer a cloud first mentality as far as it comes to building or upgrading IT infrastructure. Second, technology will be a driver for business objectives. The level of technological integration, the level of technological digitization that is happening now was foreseen by Happiest Minds when it set up itself for business 10 years ago. Then we have the increased need for cybersecurity solutions. Today, cybersecurity is an all pervasive concern of leadership teams as well as IT managers, but that was again foreseen by Happiest Minds. And the company also understood that IT industry cannot be free of regulations. Therefore, the IT industry's development has to be in regulatory compliance in various geographies, various jurisdictions in which the company would operate. So the mega trends were read right by Happiest Minds when it established itself for growth. So the key use cases that IT industry has in general, not every company excels in all of these things, but some companies excel in some more than in the others. Shift to cloud, Internet of Things IoT, robotic process automation RPA, predictive analytics, digital transformation, increasing online engagement, virtual augmented reality, cybersecurity, increasing use of blockchain, large scale deployment of artificial intelligence and machine learning. The success of IT firms in the modern era lies in their ability to leverage their competencies and marketing skills to target the new growth drivers in industry. If a company were to come into the hotly contested information technology domain, the company would have had to predict these kinds of requirements of the future and accordingly build its competencies and capabilities to be prepared for such a service portfolio. So, what are the services industry related competitive forces? The entry barriers are low because information technology as a corporate activity doesn't require huge equipment in capital goods, it doesn't require huge facilities. Therefore, the cloud infrastructure, which can be taken by you on lease or on a servitization basis, could entail only low capital requirements. But there could be a lack of industry network that can affect acquiring new customers. So, in terms of entry barriers, a new IT company will not have capital investment requirements, but it will have a lot of barriers related to acquisition of customers. Second, bargaining power of suppliers. The IT company will have key suppliers such as software vendors, infrastructure providers that could include cloud infra, physical space, other supporting services for employees. However, the bargaining power of the suppliers is not very high. When you have higher adoption of cloud services, there could actually be higher leverage for the service providers who are engaged in cloud, that is Google, Microsoft, or Amazon. Then the competitive intensity, which stems from these two factors as well as the next two factors I will talk about, the threat of substitutes and the bargaining power of customers. There is going to be increasing robotic process automation and AI ML deployment. So the tasks which are repetitively done in an IT industry domain are getting eliminated. Therefore, the IT company has to be ahead of the curve in terms of self automation before it starts automating other companies and clients. The bargaining power of customers is very important. The whole IT business is leveraged on getting deals, and deals are the dispensations given by customers based on the rating of the vendors, IT vendors particularly. So any IT company would have to have that capability to enable the customer switch from one IT vendor to another IT vendor. But with so many IT companies coming up at different levels, customers are also bound to demand better customer experience and service levels. Therefore, the fairly high power that exists for customers can be met only with competent servicing capability on the part of the new IT company. And then the competitive intensity. There is going to be high competition intensity in all the tiers, big, mid cap, and small players. Therefore, differentiated service and brand visibility is the key. So, the background of Happiest Minds in terms of the reading of the mega trends has been as follows. It was founded in 2011. It's headquartered in Bangalore and has operations in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, and Middle East. It has been one of the fastest globalizing IT companies, particularly in the mid tier, because it has been only 11 years old as of today. It has a strong promoter, Ashok Sudha, who was earlier the founding chairman and MD of Mindtree. Prior to Mindtree, he led Wipro's IT business for 15 years very successfully. So the logo of the company when it started was happiest people, happiest customers. That was a very different way of positioning the company. A bit intriguing, but all the same, a positive vibe is sent by the way the signature logo has been established. The value offerings include IoT, DevOps, and RPA, software defined networking, NFV, big data and advanced analytics, blockchain, cloud, BPM, and integration security. And the industrial domains that were covered were BFSI, edutech, high tech, manufacturing, industrial, retail, travel, and hospitality. So, a matrix of domains and applications was thought about by the company as part of its value offerings and business streams. Then the evolution of the company began. The mission statement was happiest people, happiest customers. The values were sharing, mindful, integrity, learning, excellence, social responsibility. And it is priding itself today, and it also prided itself and it established itself that it would be a great place to work. Multiple awards and recognitions validating the mission statement. It also led the foray into next generation digital transformation, infrastructure building, security, and product engineering as services. So, to be able to qualify for the signature statement, which came in later, that is born digital, born agile, it decided to create digital capital on one hand and ensure mindful agility on the other. So, the digital capital was in terms of business transformation, platformation, and modernization, and reimagining customer experience. In terms of mindful agility, an agile organization, a business that is quick delivery, which is smart and fast, and engineering operational excellence that was equally supportive of such flexible and dynamic movements was established. The evolution of the theme of the company has been as follows. In 2011, the company was established as Happiest Minds, and the logo was that of happy person. Happiness has been centering on three aspects for Happiest Minds: being, joyous posture of a happy person, the green person; belonging, the color of joy represented by the yellow background; and becoming, energy and movement for future symbolized by force lines. Given that we have discussed branding and the methodologies for branding, the branding methodology that has been adopted by Happiest Minds can be seen to be very refreshing and very impactful. Then it was not content with this branding alone. Then it added a tagline in 2017, the Mindful IT Company. It adopted this company tagline because it wanted to have the happiness brand positioning further reinforced in terms of being and doing things in a mindful fashion for employees, customers, and the society. Then, 2 years later, it wanted to really pan out its digital capability and agile capabilities. So, the next tagline, which is bolder, came into being: born digital, born agile. You must observe that this has come into being after the necessary skill base has been established, the necessary digital platforms have been established, and the company has started making a strong mark in the customer minds. And the agile enough to transform business, competent with the digital technologies and solutions, quick adoption and integration of technologies were the three hallmarks of this new tagline. The key competitors of Happiest Minds could not be seen to be only the mid-tier companies, because even large-tier companies have divisions which operate in the mid-tier segment entrepreneurially. So TCS, Wipro, Infosys are at one level competitors of Happiest Minds, but at the other level, the large group of mid-tier companies and small-tier companies wanting to be mid-tier companies are also competitors, which means that Happiest Minds has the entire IT domain as the competitive landscape, and it covers a wide spectrum of both services and products. But the firm has been growing fast despite the competition. In terms of the market capitalization, the company was ranked the 15th among the well established and well known players, although there is a huge difference or distance between the market capitalization of Happiest Minds and those of the top rung players. However, when you compare it with Persistent Systems, L&T Technology Services, Coforge, Tata Elxsi, and Tanla Platforms, or even Oracle Financial Services, the achievement has been in line with reaching the mid-tier status faster than they could achieve. The business model canvas of Happiest Minds could be described in terms of the following. First, it decided on a partnership model. It decided to pursue tech companies, have cloud infra service providers, and have software license providers as the key partners. The key activities have been detailed earlier, but in terms of the focus, IT service development, infrastructure security services, IoT services, analytics, and product engineering services have been taken up. The key resources have been recognized from day one: skilled IT workforce, technology know how. And what is the value proposition that the company offered? Digital transformation of organizations at low cost, because every company wanted to transform itself in the 2010s period, and that was beginning to be expensive if big companies were to be approached for that transformation. So the company pitched itself in a segment which offered the sweet spot of digital transformation at low cost. And it also decided to assist organizations to scale up their operations by focusing on competencies and leaving IT to the vendor. There have been relationships. It's not that it has been doing everything on its own. It had relationships with other IT firms, vendor base, and also sought to retain the employees on the platform of happiness so that it doesn't have the same problem which other IT companies had of employee attrition. The channels it used were website and regional distributors. The customer segments which offered the partnerships were IT companies, edtech firms, banking, financial service and insurance, manufacturing industries, and others. The cost structure was obviously in terms of the strong research and IP development, product and service cost, marketing and selling expense. That is one of the largest expenditure items in an IT company, particularly a global IT company, and the general and administration expenses. The revenue streams were in terms of the hourly billing model for software support and subscriptions for software product. So this provided a comprehensive business model for Happiest Minds to drive up its business. Marketing in IT service industry is not easy. As I said, customers have strong loyalties, and to make the customers move from one vendor to another vendor is a challenge. Although the software services could be portable as a manner of speaking, the loyalty that exists with the performance of vendors is an important barrier to mobility. So, service marketing has focused on the seven P's of product, price, place, and promotion. Also on people, process, and physical evidence. So, all these seven together were deployed by Happiest Minds for service marketing. The twin themes through which these seven came up were disruptive technology and disruptive culture. What does disruptive technology entail? Reimagining customer experience, re engineering business fluidity, reducing the level of risk, and reducing the time to market. And disruptive culture emanated from happiness as the motivator, as an inspiration for customers, employees, and stakeholders. So, the major business units of Happiest Minds, which were established from the inception, began gathering momentum and velocity of business development: digital business solutions, product engineering services, infrastructure management, and security services. Based on the client industry verticals, Happiest Minds has grown its business in such a manner that it started deriving 40% plus revenue from the upcoming edtech and high-tech industries. That emphasis has been of great help when the edtech industries and high-tech industries, which are based on distant communication, grew rapidly in the COVID era. The revenue stream, however, is widely distributed across the other verticals as well, BFS as well as manufacturing. So if you see the table on the right side, 23% is derived from edutech, 14% from high tech, 13% from BFSI, travel, media, and entertainment from contributing to 13%, 10.6% from retail, and 7% from industrial, and 8% from manufacturing, with others contributing 12%. This is one of the most diversified customer portfolio or industry portfolio that a company can have. It also had digital service offerings which were in terms of digital infrastructure cloud at 43%, SaaS service as software at 20%, security solutions at 12%, IoT at 10%, the total becoming 96.7%. The biggest contributor in terms of the service offering has been digital infrastructure and cloud. Cloud would continue to stay on forever. Therefore, the dominant share in cloud should not be misconstrued. On the other hand, its presence in service as a software, in security solutions, analytics, AI, IoT, which are the new growth drivers, also needs to be taken care of. So you can see that Happiest Minds derives 90% of revenue from the new age digital services which I have talked about. And it has significant presence in the automation space. It has also tried to build the right skill sets to tackle the challenges of the new digital transformation wave. So this is a lesson for companies that if you want to make a success of your journey, you need to first understand the megatrends in the industry, move on to the newer facets of these megatrends, and position yourself with the right skill sets in that particular market segment. So, Happiest Minds have successfully marketed themselves in all the major relevant and growing customer verticals, and they have sizable bouquet of offerings in the digital services space. This augurs well for their future growth. In marketing, as I said, getting customers is the biggest challenge. The way Happiest Minds was approaching the issue pertained to partnerships. It didn't try to win deals straight away. It's tried to have strategic partnerships to establish the capability of the firm. So the alliance partnership models extended to various companies which are leaders in themselves in those platforms. Microsoft areas were cloud platform and productivity, IoT, AI Inner Circle partner and gold partner at Azure IoT have been the reputational markers for this company. Amazon Web Services company was involved in cloud data center transformation IoT. With Google, cloud and analytics have been the basis of collaboration. With Salesforce, another great company in CRM, it started supporting CRM, Sales Cloud, Commerce Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and consulting verticals. Like that, there are many companies with which the company Happiest Minds aligned itself and won partnership awards. And these strategic partnerships and alliances have positioned the company as one of the more reliable and more trendy IT companies in the domain. This is a strategic advantage for the company as it seeks to scale up its operations. And this is one of the important reasons why Happiest Minds has had such a rapid growth vis-a-vis the industry peers. Then the company must have a strong technical capability. As we have seen, it must also have strong managerial capability, leadership capability, and a board of directors which is capable of providing expert mentoring, technological and business oversight, and the ability to wisely steer the affairs of the company. So the company has an expert leadership team with vast experience in the IT industry. The governance aspects of the company are designed to make the firm resilient and built to last. The firm is focusing on emerging sectors of digitization and analytics services, which ensures huge prospects in coming years. And the values of the firm are pivoted on happiness for customers, employees, and stakeholders. And Ashok Sutta, the founder, has been there as executive chairman and has been a part of the board from the inception. The board also comprises other reputed personalities, as you can see from the designation of the directors. There is also an executive board which guides the day to day affairs of the company. The company established a vision which spans 10 years, 2021 to 2031 vision. And it had six facets. One, design happiest minds for perpetuity. The company wants to be a perpetual company. Second, accelerate profitable growth. Third, build and sustain a world class team. Four, be the ambassador of happiness. Be recognized for thought leadership in the focus areas of technology and solutions as the fifth facet. And in the ESG standards be known, so that that adds to the overall sheen of the company. If you compare Happiest Minds with one of the rapidly growing IT companies, HCL Technologies, you can see the difference. Happiest Minds was founded in 2011. HCL Technologies was founded in 1976, several years earlier. Happiest Minds is well known for its new age IT services. It is not known for the normal, routine, mundane IT services. Whereas HCL Technologies has been an established player in the traditional IT space and has accelerated only now a focus into IoT, analytics, and cloud. Happiest Minds realized the advantage of platform based business and initiated alliances and partnerships with major tech giants early on. Whereas HCL Technologies has been successful in the traditional IT business, which was a cash rich business. It has recognized the importance of platform business, but the drive and move into that segment has been slow, relatively speaking. The investor community has recognized the growth of Happiest Minds, and the company has been rewarded with high share price growth. The share price growth of HTL Technologies, on the other hand, lagged behind the other Indian giants such as InfiTCS, because the company was not into the newer age technologies and it was kind of taking time to get into those areas aggressively. That's the comparison between Happiest Minds and HCL Technologies. Looking at this, would Happiest Minds be closer to the large tire sooner than later? The answer seems to be yes. So, what should Happiest Minds do? In the short term, the company should continue to focus on digitization and analytics services. It should focus on employee retention and sustenance of core values, considering the ongoing high attrition in industry. It cannot have just a tagline which talks about employee happiness, customer happiness, or social happiness. It must show it in the actual execution. So the attrition levels have to be low. There has to be continuous upskilling and deployment of people in different new age projects. In the long term, as the logo of the firm evolved, it must live up to all the features of the taglines: being happy, being making people happy, making all the stakeholders happier, then being mindful and being agile and being capable of providing dynamism to the customers. By leveraging the strategic alliances with tech giants, the company can grow into an even bigger company, because big companies would like to have trusted and trustworthy partners for sharing more of their business as they go in terms of the outsourcing and offshoring models. So the business development strategy has been threefold. First, land into the IT space, then expand. Understanding the customer perception correctly and delivering differentiated experience has helped the company in word of mouth brand building. Next, it started pursuing inorganic opportunities. M&A has been a key driver in augmenting the company's capabilities in core, niche, and emerging technology areas. It started focusing on companies that could bring specialty and complementary skills so that the client value propositions could be better. Then widen domain and technology expertise. Starting with technology, the company built expertise across various business verticals that we have discussed, and these were very varied business verticals. And the company decided to be global from day one. So, scaling up of geographical presence was an important globalization objective. It used geographical diversification and expansion as a strategic move to attract new customers, generate new streams of revenue, and become the poster boy of new age IT from India. The company also established its centers in UK, US, Canada, Australia, UAE, and Netherlands. While innovation continues to drive the company's growth, it has focused very much on IP led growth. It has developed a IP led product portfolio and service portfolio which could be monetized by the company. Software platforms, components with high configurability and operational performance have been developed by the company. These could address the needs of diverse end users across multiple industries and environments. So, the business development strategy was in terms of global competitiveness as well. And to be able to support this, the company needed niche skills, not run of the mill skills. Therefore, the company early on formed three COEs, Centers of Excellence, and increasingly invested in them to build excellence in those niche skills. These include IoT, DPA, and big data. Digital transformation through automation of core business applications, products, and information, including RPA, intelligent business process management, and cognitive automation using AI and ML based models. The whole skill set got developed in this area. Then IoT, digital strategy creation, device edge platform engineering, end to end system integration, and various IoT related activities, including IoT security, which is one of the most important things for wider application and safer application of IoT. Then big data. It continues to be most important, with sensors being what they are in terms of their capability, increasing capability that too, and with telecommunication being what it is with 5G and hopefully 6G as well. Data generation and data capture is going to go by leaps and bounds, and need for advanced and informative analytics, thoughtful analytics is extremely important, and that has to be based on AI, ML, and statistical model. And engineering big data analytics is also a niche area where India can make its mark. So data warehousing, modernization of data infrastructure, and process automation through AI have been supportive platforms. And the company has decided to develop talent pool in all these three areas. Then the business has to be run on efficient manner. It is not sufficient to have technological foundations and technological platforms. So business agility is the first one. Collapsing transaction cycle times and enhancing organizations' ability to sense and respond to triggers, opportunities and risks in an increasingly omni-channel world. Second, cost optimization, driving the next level of cost savings and ensuring compliance without compromising an organization's ability to compete. Third, increased productivity, maximizing productivity of people and assets by leveraging collaboration and ensuring user specific unified views around a specific business process area. You cannot do robotic process automation unless everyone in the company from design to marketing is on board. It is not enough for you to focus only on manufacturing. You need to have the collaborative capability to bring everybody in the organization on board in such kind of transformative activities, and that has been achieved to a great extent by happiest minds. Then informed decisions, all the big data analytics would be going to naught if there is no informed decision making capability built into the model. So, facilitating timely and data driven decision making culture has been one of the areas for happiest minds. And business innovation, you got to leverage newer channels and business models for monetization and creating competitive differentiation. You may observe that these five factors or five drivers of business efficiency would be equally applicable for any other company. The more technologically positioned a company is, which every company of today must be, the more relevant these five factors would be for a company's business efficiency and competitiveness. And in such a case, creating and delivering as well as sustaining value happens automatically. In September 2020, Happiest Minds Technologies underwent one of the most successful IPOs of the decade. The issue was oversubscribed by 151 times as it got bids for 3.51 billion shares compared to 23.3 million shares that were on offer. The company's business strategy evolved over a very short time frame of just a decade, and the company is building on it and designing the company for perpetuity. A growth oriented roadmap has been laid out covering the period up to 2031, and that is focused on the culture and corporate ethos. It also is looking at newer technological trends such as data fabric, cybersecurity mesh, decision intelligence, hyperautomation, AI engineering, and generative artificial intelligence. And this roadmap of the company aims at enabling expedited growth organically and inorganically, enhancement of skills, domain consultative approach, and establishment of niche additional COEs on futuristic technologies. So you can see the core technological moorings of the company its own business process efficiency, and its commitment to provide the transformative technologies and agile process to its clients, and providing happiness to all of its stakeholders, and in that process creating an internally happy company as well. But what is at the root of this? What is the driving force for this? And for that, you should appreciate this important aspect. For successful business development, a leader's brand matters. And Happiest Minds is a case study of how business development happened because of the leader's brand equity. Let's see his journey. Ashok Sutha was a professional in the making with good credentials, a BE and an MBA. He started his career in 1965 with Shriram Group. From 1984 to 1999, he served as president of Wipro Infotech, and he made Wipro a powerhouse in IT with his entrepreneurship. In 1999, Ashok Sudha co-founded Mindtree with nine former Wipro employees. He saw the value of creating a new entity in information technology field and constituted this company. He relied on VC and PE investments in 2001 to strengthen the capital structure of the company. He began developing software services to market clients such as Volvo. In this journey, Ashok Sudha grew in stature and became a globally reputed IT leader. Then the worth of the company became so much, and the shareholding being what it is because of the early investments by VCs and PEs, he did face a semi-hostile bid from L&T, and eventually Ashok and co-founders left. Not to be content with the monetization that occurred, Ashok Sudha wanted to create a new enterprise, which would be a different kind of enterprise. So he wanted to demonstrate his entrepreneurial capability yet again. So he co-founded Happiest Technologies in 2011. Ashok Sudha's track record and efforts brought business to Happiest Technologies, and it was his name which got the first interest, and then the technological platform, the efficiencies which he offered, the transformation capabilities the company offered strengthened the business network. Happiest Minds, therefore, is the company that is in the forefront of mid-cap IT companies on a contemporaneous basis as well as on a futuristic basis. So this is a very interesting lesson from Happiest Minds, that a leader's mindset, a leader's skill set, a leader's leadership capability, and above all, a leader's brand equity matters a lot in successful business development of a new startup, even in a competed space. With this, we come to the end of this lecture. I hope you enjoy this lecture on Happiest Minds and Happiest Technologies. Thank you very much.